Hi, I'm Ted Van Gunst. I am a locomotive engineer, one and only ex-CN engineers on the Alberta Railway Museum's property. I operate the locomotive that you see behind me here as an engineer, and I've got close to 35 years of railway operating experience on anything that the CNR owned and operated. I hired out originally in 1952 as a locomotive fireman, and the locomotive that is right behind this diesel locomotive was the original one that I at one time fired as a coal burning locomotive. And I had to throw about 12 ton of coal into this locomotive per day in a 10 or 12 hour day to keep it fired up and under steam to make it operate. And that wasn't an easy chore, but this was 1952, and work was not too plentiful, so one didn't quibble about it. After that, I resigned from the railway for a period of time because life was not the rosiest on the railway and work was not very plentiful. So I went and did something else, which I, over the years, learned how to be an individual properly and be able to follow my own personal mind as to what was required to do a good job, and went into business for myself with a friend of mine there, and we owned and operated a number of service stations in the city of Edmonton. I came back in 1972 to the Canadian National as a locomotive engineer, but no more steam. And it kind of made me a little sad for a while, but I had a living to make for a family and what have you. So I spent another 22 years working as a locomotive engineer in various terminals, Jasper out in the mountains, Grande Prairie up north. Around Edmonton was my main base. Once I finished in Jasper, I came back to Edmonton and spent my entire days out of Edmonton running the different subdivisions that required a locomotive engineer to pull a train. Having said that, in 1992, I managed to get a retirement with a buyout because I had too much seniority and I was just not retrainable for other positions as an engineer. So henceforth, the company decided to buy me out, which was quite all right by me because the price was right. And since then, I've came on stream with the Alberta Railway Museum because they had a steam engine that they had very few people to operate. I being qualified, I got to operate it, and I knew this engine in much particularity because I trained on it to start with when I was a young person. Except this time she's now an oil-fired locomotive. She no longer needs coal, which is a lot easier on the back. And it gives me an opportunity to tell the public, asking them questions like, have you any idea where Canada came from? And most times you get a funny look or a question raised, no, we don't know. I said, well, because the railways are the ones that developed the country. And this is what I've been doing around here ever since. And I get the biggest charge out of the little fellows that are 6 years or younger, because they are just ooh and ah and awesome about this equipment. They just love it.